Welcome to Coach Factory. This is the podcast where we talk about your coaching business. And in this interview, you are going to learn so much more than just about your coaching business. You're going to learn about some fundamentals of coaching and specifically transformation coaching. My guest today is Jamie Smart. I learned about Jamie from my husband, who had worked with him and spoke very highly of him. And I knew I wanted to bring Jamie to this audience so you could learn about some of the work that he does. This conversation goes deep and we get a little personal. I talk a little bit about some of the experiences with my husband and how the human mind works. There is so much gold in this episode. If you want to learn more about Jamie, there are links in the show notes. I hope you enjoy this. I just got off the call with Jamie and I'm still blown away, and I know you will be too. Jamie Smart, it is an honor to meet you, and I'm so excited about interviewing you today. Thanks for being here.
It's great to be here, Kathy, and I've been really looking forward to our conversation too.
Yeah, so I know about you because my husband worked with you. I don't know what you guys did together, but he spoke very highly of you. So when I was sort of pulled into the world of coaching and I was like in his email, I'm like, oh yeah, I should subscribe to Jamie's email as well and start following along and learning what you do. But I still feel like I only have a surface level understanding of what exactly you do. So for the audience and for me, give it just an overview of the work that you do with coaches.
Sure. Well, my work with I love working with coaches and therapists and change workers because one of the things I'm passionate about is what I call the principles behind clarity, which is the innate capacity that everyone has for peace of mind, clarity, resilience, creativity, presence, love and connection, confidence, motivation, all these things. They're innate capacities. And what I find with coaches is that when coaches start to get a glimpse and get a feel for these principles, it does a bunch of really cool things. First of all, it takes a lot off their mind and gets them much more present with their clients. And it also, well, I'll tell you a quick story. When I first stumbled across these principles for myself, my first realization was, oh, everything you've been looking for outside of you is already there within you. Now, I'd heard this kind of thing in spiritual teachings and that sort of thing, but I suddenly got just a really clear, tangible sense of it. So I knew it for myself. Now, when I say everything you're looking for, I'm not talking about wristwatches and fast cars. I mean the qualities of peace of mind, success, belonging, well-being, the love, connection, meaning, and purpose. They're inherent qualities for human
Yes.
beings. So I was like, oh, everything you've been looking for outside of you, it's already there within you. So that immediately started reorganizing my priorities. The next realization I had was, oh, the fact that a person can see or hear or feel or even have an experience of life means they have that innate capacity for resilience, realization, and transformation already there within them. So I was already a very skilled coach by when I had this realization. I had already had my own coaching business and coach training company for 10 years. But I saw this and I immediately became far more hopeful for my clients because no matter what they came in with, I could see the source of transformation that they had within them. And they would pick up on my certainty for that. So when I teach this to coaches, those coaches pick up on it as well. And suddenly they're feeling even more hopeful, even more certain, even more confident in their client's capacity for transformation. It's really interesting. I ran a poll for one of my groups of coaches years ago. So big group, loads of people voting on it. And the question I asked is, what's the number one thing that if you had it would have the biggest impact on your ability to make a difference to your client? And the number one answer was confidence in my abilities. If all
Mm.
these coaches, like the vast majority of coaches said, if I was just more confident in my ability to make a difference, that would be the thing that would make the difference, right? Bottom of the list with one vote from me was rock solid confidence in my client's capacity for transformation. See, I've
Interesting.
got skills, right? Like I've been doing this stuff for over a quarter of a century. So I've got a bunch of skills, but the unusual level of impact that I have and that I teach the coaches I work with to have is about the confidence you have in your client's capacity for transformation. I'll give you a metaphor for
Mm,
it, Kathy.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
you, let's say you, I don't know, you break your arm. You go to the doctor and the doctor says, yeah, it's a broken arm. We're going to put it in a cast and we'll set to. So they put it in a cast, they get it all set. And then the bone heals. But here's the thing, the doctor doesn't heal the bone. The innate healing power of the body heals the bone.
Yes.
The doctor just creates the conditions for it. Well, speaking to you as a coach, I know that the thing that's going to do the heavy lifting is your client's innate capacity for resilience, for realization, for transformation, for creativity. And when you know that about your client picks up on it. They pick up
Yeah.
your confidence in them. So while there's a structure to this and a set of principles you can get eyes for and get an embodied experience of, that's one of the major impacts it has for coaches who learn this stuff. They just become way more confident in their clients' ability to create the changes and achieve the goals and make the changes they need to make in their lives.
That you just gave me so much clarity as just this year I got NLP certified because that's what my husband did.
Mhm.
I got motivation code certified because that was the work thing, and putting those two together has been really helpful. But I often am in these coaching sessions with clients, and it feels weird to me because I don't feel like I'm like, what am I doing? I feel like I'm just like creating a space, but like almost like God and the client, they're doing all of the work and I'm just almost a spectator that's just asking questions. Like it's all in the client. The work is theirs. And so it's been weird for me as a coach of like what is my role? But that gave me so much clarity in that my role is to be confident in their change and to hold space for that.
Well, and I'll
So
go further. I'd say that your role is whatever you know that's true about your client's capacity. And then the other piece you offer is whatever skills you bring to guiding them into a realization of that. Because here's the thing, you can know that someone has a capacity for transformation, but they might not believe it. So how do
yeah.
you get into a connection with the client and then lead them into a place where they see it for themselves? And that's where the skill piece comes in. So it seems to me, Kathy, there are two aspects of it. One of them is the stuff you know for sure about your client, about yourself, and about life. And the other is your ability to do something in such a way that it shows up for the client. I'll give you an example. I was listening to a stand-up comedian being interviewed once, and someone described what I think it was Norm Macdonald, in fact. Someone described what he was doing as an art form. And he said, well, no, it's not really an art form. That my ears pricked up. He said, it's not really an art form, it's a craft. He said, with an art form, you can
Mm,
make anything, put a frame around it, and say, that's art. Not everyone's going to like it, but if you say it's art, it's art. That's art. He said, with stand-up comedy, you've got to get everyone to laugh at the same time where you mean them to laugh. And that's a craft. That takes skill and that sort of thing. Well, it seems to me with coaching, it's one thing to be confident in another person's capacity for transformation. And that's a powerful leverage point. But then to organize your communications and your experience with the person so that they get present to what's possible for them and are able to integrate that in such a way that they're able to take action and move forward with it, that's a skill, that's a craft.
gotcha. That is
And I see a lot of coaches going, oh, I didn't do anything, I just sat there and hold space for them. It's like, well, great, and more power to you. I've been doing this for a quarter of a century and I do a lot more than that. There's a
yeah,
craft in leading people into a realization of what's possible for them, who
yeah.
they really are. And it's interesting, Kathy. A lot of times I'll hear coaches say that they struggle with client enrollment. And
Hmm.
a distinction that I offer is I say, listen, if you want to enroll a client, you got to start with thinking about what is it you're enrolling them in. And it seems to me that what you're enrolling a client in is a bigger vision of who they are and what's possible for them. That's the primary thing that you need to enroll a client in. If you want them to hire you as a
Yeah.
coach, you need to enroll them in a bigger vision of who they are, what's possible for them, a bigger vision of their future, a more beautiful vision of their future. But if you're going to do that, you've got to enroll yourself in a bigger vision of who you are and what's possible for you, a bigger vision of your future. So it seems to me that a lot of times, especially when I hear coaches say, "Oh, I didn't do anything. It was all the client." I'm like, hang on a second. I think you may be doing lovely work. And I think there's a bigger vision of what's possible in terms of the impact you can have and the difference you can make in a client's life.
Huge distinction with what a lot of other coaching gurus say of you have to solve a problem. You have to go to a client. They're only going to spend money if they have a problem and you have a solution. But you're taking this to another level, aren't you?
Well, I think there's a kernel of truth in the problem solution thing. Like I, I, I wouldn't put it quite like that. I'd say if someone's going to hire you, there need to be two things that are there. If they're going to hire you as a coach anyway. Number one, you got to have a relationship with you. They've got to know you and like you and trust you, right? And that typically takes time. Okay, so they got to spend enough time either in conversation with you or listening to you talk or on a podcast or something, or watching you speak at an event, or they've got to spend a period of time that allows them to get a sense of just, do they like spending time with you? Right? Like if you're going to pay money to be in a room with someone for hours on end, either you got to like hanging out with them, or you got to feel confident that they've got an answer to a problem that's so serious that you're willing to tolerate them for an hour while they fix it, right? Like it's one way or the other. But if you don't like hanging out with someone, you're not going to be very motivated to voluntarily pay money to spend time with them, right? So there's the on the there's an old British mystic called Stuart Wilde who used to say that his client acquisition approach was very simple. He said, what you do is you spend all your time, energy, and money cultivating a beautiful feeling. So it just feels incredible to be you. He said,
Mm,
and when it feels incredible to be you, other people will want to hang out with you. And when they show up, invoice them. And he was saying it kind of tongue in cheek, but there's some truth in that. So I think one of the things on the connection side, you want to get good at building relationships with people that have them enjoying hanging out with you. And
yeah.
if you want other people to enjoy hanging out with you, you need to enjoy hanging out with you. Like if it doesn't feel good to be you, it's probably not going to feel good to hang around with you. So number one, people have got to know you and like you and trust you before they'll hire you, typically. So you got to have a relationship. This is in coaching. It's not you don't have to know and like and trust the CEO of Wonder Bread in order to buy Wonder Bread because it's more of a commodity product. But with coaching, which is a personal service, a personal relationship business, people have got to know you and like you and trust you. And that takes a little bit of time. But then the other thing they need is before they'll hire you, they need to be present to either some problem you can help them solve, or goal you can help them achieve, or change you can help them make, or transformation that you can help them undergo that matters to them. They got to
Yeah.
care about it. Now, there are lots of people out there offering problem-oriented coaching around specific things, and fair enough, there are lots of problems people want solved. That's never been very interesting to me, because what I'm interested in is transformation. I'm interested in helping people get in touch with who they really are and live the life they're here to live, and bring their heart's desires to life. So people are often like, I do sessions where I'll enroll clients in front of a group and things like that. And people are often surprised at how much time and energy I put into finding out, so what do you really want? Like, what would be a dream come true result? Like, if I could wave a magic wand and you could have everything how you want it to be, how would you know the magic wand had worked? And I'll dive into that, and I'll come back to it again and again and again, because I want to find out two things. First of all, I want to find out if there's something that they want to accomplish, create, do, solve, bring into being that is going to justify them paying me the sort of money I charge, which is significant, and
Yeah.
them taking the time to do it and all that sort of thing. But here's the other thing. I only want to work with them if it's going to be interesting to me. And if someone's like, I need help stopping chewing my nails, it's just not very interesting to me. So I want to find out if there's something we can get up to that's going to be really fascinating for me to collaborate with them on, that I feel inspired by, that I think, whoa, that would be cool. Like, I want it to be interesting. So
Yeah.
for me, like, I know that may sound selfish, but I find that if we get both those things, then that's something worth doing. That's something exciting and interesting and inspiring and motivating, you know?
For sure. For sure. Well, you're the only person that has to be in your coaching business more than anyone else. So it better
Right.
be interesting to you, right? So, do you get situations where you have clients where they know something's wrong, they know that they're meant for more, but they're not quite sure what that thing is?
Sure, all the time. Yeah, that's the usual. Like,
Yeah.
usually when you ask a client, so what do you want? What would you love to have happen? What would be a dream come true result? Any of those questions, the first answer you get is often either what they've been trying to accomplish that hasn't been working, or some societally approved model of what they want, or it's what they think they can get, or what. But what I'm trying to tune into is, what's their heart's desire? What lights them up? What has them go, holy shit, that would be amazing? What's the thing that, because here's the thing, if they're trying to accomplish something that they don't feel inspired, motivated, lit up, all that stuff about, it's going to be a huge pain in the backside even trying to help them accomplish it, because no one's very
Yeah.
motivated to do that stuff. So I want to find what's the stuff that has them going, oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be,
Yeah.
because like I said, I want to enroll them in a bigger vision of their life, of what's possible for them, of their future, of what they're capable of.
Yeah.
And I want to do all of that. And that's where it gets interesting for people.
Yeah. A lot of times people are just they make such assumptions of what life is based on their patterns, based on just their
Sure.
experiences, and they think that this box is it, and they get the box and it's like, well, that's not what I wanted for Christmas. Not
Yeah, it's
a,
bloody box.
just a box.
Yeah,
Exactly.
God
So
damn
it's
it.
so you really have to, because you were trained in neurolinguistic programming as well, but you're
Yeah, I
not.
used to be
I
a neurolinguistic programming teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you still use
I love doing it. I trained it for many, many years.
do you still use it in your practice?
Well, one of the things that you're going to love about NLP is that once you've integrated the patterns at a deep enough level in your neurophysiology, there's no way you could ever not use it.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do? Like, I would say the most powerful things I learned in my exploration of neuro-linguistic programming, which I'll be forever grateful for. I mean, the work that Bandler and Grinder did, and the people who they modeled and who inspired them, that work made such a huge contribution to my life and gave me passion and purpose and direction for a decade or more. And I absolutely loved it, and I had a great time. And the things that were incredibly valuable that I learned were the presuppositions of NLP, which were
Mhm.
really valuable, the meta model, the Milton model, the patterns of sleight of mouth, my understanding of human neurophysiology, like my way of relating to people. Like, one of my core ways of perceiving the world and people and of listening to people is to say, well, if you stop and think about it for a moment, the fact that we're having this conversation today means that each one of us evolved from a line of ancestors that stretches all the way back to the dawn of creation. And every single one of those creatures manage to survive until breeding age, hook up with someone at least once, and pass on their genetic material on a planet where most creatures get eaten by the time before they reach breeding age, like 90% of them. So that means that this line of ancestors going back millions of time has been profoundly adapted to life on this planet. Like we've evolved for the world, for a world of objects and actions and experience, a world of running and jumping and over there and all that sort of stuff. And so we're built for reality. And language sits on top of that deeper neurophysiological substrate. So when I listen to a client, I listen to them as though I'm listening to a, 9th century tribal dweller on the steppes of southern Russia, because while we live in a much more complex world today, the most fundamental neurological orientations that we have are still the same things that our ancestors would have recognized. Things like, going towards safety and away from danger, things like connection to other people, things like getting over obstacles. And, we've evolved for a relatively simple world. And then we've put this very complex world on top of it, but we're still processing it through all those neurological substrates. So I am very grateful for that stuff. And I couldn't not use those lenses to perceive the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned about NLP very young. My mom was in sales. And so she had, in the 80s, late 80s, she had all these books around. And I'm like, oh, I could talk to boys with this stuff. Like I could understand boys. And then when I met Mark and saw how he was using it, I initially met him. He was in a coaching, like 7 people sitting around a table. And I saw him physically change someone. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I need to know this. And of course,
Cool.
over the last 20 years, living vicariously through him, I really do miss seeing those kinds of transformations, or just hearing about, he's out on a golf course with someone and they're like trying to work on their game. And he comes home and he's like, yeah, no, they were fighting with their wife. We fixed that. He'll be fine. And his golf game's better. It's like coming out sideways. And I miss seeing that. So I think that was one of the reasons that I got inspired to like, let's see if I can do this. Let's see what can happen. But as a very new coach, it's like the first session I had, I saw somebody physically change. She started crying and I was just like, oh God, what did I do? Did I screw her up? Like, what did I do? It's such a powerful place to be. I have such reverence for it, that it's almost a little bit scary, because I'm like you, I'm very motivated by that get to the core of who you really are experience. Like, we can lose the last 15 pounds, but the person who came to me, I want to lose 15 pounds. That was the person who ended up crying, and it went back to like mom and dad, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is just so deep. Like, what do you do as a new coach when you start getting into those kinds of situations where it gets super deep and super big, and maybe I just don't feel like, can I really do this? Help me.
Yeah, well, there are things that occur to me. Like, if I think of the International Coaching Federation guidelines, they make very clear distinctions between coaching and therapy.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Like, just to get clear on, at the moment, what's the domain that you feel confident and able to hold space for people and to be of help, and what are the areas where it would make more sense for you to refer someone on, or whatever it might make sense to do. And I think that's relevant for every coach. Like, I feel confident with most clients to be able to make a difference to them, but there are some clients who I'll refer on because I know a colleague is a better fit for them or whatever. So I think it's fine to give that some thought. That's my first thing. My second thing is, there are certain things that just come with experience. Like, as you get more and more experience of working with clients, you'll get clearer on who are the clients that are a good fit for you, who are good clients who are not a good fit for you, what are the topics or domains that you're comfortable to work with, what are the ones where you need to move them on. And there's another piece, which is, if you grab one bit of a client, it comes up with every other aspect of the client attached to it. So it's not like we actually have separate compartments or anything.
Right.
But the other thing that I find useful, like I've noticed over the years, I don't do therapy, but a lot of times people will experience significant therapeutic benefit from working with me, because what I'm very, very clear about is what they've got going for them, what can and can't harm them, who they really are. Like when I talk about getting people in touch with who they really are, I'm not talking about childhood stuff. What I'm talking about is, well, there's a quote by Teilhard de Chardin, who was a cleric in I can't remember which century, long time ago. Anyway, he has this very famous quote, which I bastardize as follows. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're one spiritual being having 8 billion human experiences. And who you really are is that one spiritual being. Who you really are is consciousness itself. And so who you really are can't be harmed by anything in this world of form of things, right? Like your leg can be harmed, your elbow can be harmed for sure, your nose can be harmed if someone punches you in it. I've seen that happen. I've had that happen to me. But who you are can't be harmed. And what you find, Kathy, is that many of the challenges people face arise when people have identified themselves with what they're not rather than with who they are. So I'll give you a simple, well, I'll give you an interesting metaphor, actually. It's not even a metaphor. This really happened. I'll give you an example. Like we're sitting here talking on this video conferencing tool, right? And I can see an image on the screen, which is me. He's the bald one. And I can see an image on the screen, which is you, which is Kathy. And you and I can both look at the screen and go, oh yeah, that's me. And that's the other one. Got it. We can pick ourselves out of a lineup, right? But there was a time when we couldn't do that. There's this experiment called the Rouge test. And what they do is they take little kids under the age of 18 months and they put them in front of a mirror. And the kid will look in the mirror and they'll go and they'll explore. They'll be like, where's the baby? Where's the other kid? Because they don't know that that's them, right? Well, it's not them. That's an image, right? So then what they do is they put a dot, they cover up the mirror, they put a dot of rouge on the child's cheek or like some lipstick or something on the kid's cheek. And up until the age of 18 months, the kid's totally unresponsive. Then after 18 months, the kid goes, oh, they've learned to identify themselves with an image from a distance away. Well, you and I have been doing that our whole lives, so we can do it really well. I go, yeah, that's me, that's Kathy, blah, 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 blah. But we're not born knowing that. We're not born identifying ourselves with a third person image. Like if you look at that picture of me and that picture of you on the screen, that's an image of yourself from a distance. That's not who you are to yourself. That's who you are to other people. And we get taught to identify with that image. And it's practical for a bunch of reasons. So, you can brush your hair or put on your makeup, right? Or whatever, that's fine. But it's not who you are. And most of the problems that people experience, especially problems of limitation in terms of what they're capable of and what's possible for them and what holds them back and all that sort of thing, comes from an over-identification with a third-person perspective on themselves, their self-image. And so then they work on, okay, try and have a better self-image. Well, that ain't even you, right? Who you are to yourself is the you were born knowing, who you are from 0 millimeters away. But most people are processing a bunch of their experience of themselves through other people's eyes, through a third-person self-image. What I find, and I find this when I'm working with company directors, entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, consultants, therapists, you can tell them this stuff all you like, but what I need to do is to create the conditions for them to have an experience of who they are, who they are from 0 millimeters away. And once they start to wake up to that, everything starts to shift.
I'm silent because I'm sitting with that, because that is so powerful. It's so powerful because it's all, what other people think about you. It's all just projection. It's all just fake, but people believe in it because that's what they've needed to do in order to feel safe, to feel a part of a group, to feel accepted, to
Kathy,
feel
even
okay.
more than that, like you ever had that thing when you go to the movies and you've been in the cinema maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're really caught up in the movie, and then
Yeah.
something happens to the person on the screen and you duck. You ever had that? Like they're
No.
about to get hit and you move out of the way.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenon the neuroscientists call transparency, and it's a quality of consciousness that
Yeah.
when we're looking at someone on a screen, we tend to identify with that person. Same with
Yeah.
playing video games or anything like that. Well, if that can happen within 20 minutes of starting to watch a movie, what do you suppose happens when you've been looking at an image of yourself for 20 years, 30 years,
Yeah.
40 years?
Yeah.
The the people don't even know that they're doing this. They
And it's not, and it's even an imagined image. It's like something that they may have even created themselves. It's not.
Well, yeah, guaranteed, and it's dynamic. That's why if
Yeah.
it wasn't dynamic, you'd always wake up feeling the same way.
Yeah. Now, do the coaches that you work with, do you have to wake them up to that experience within themselves so that they
Yeah,
can help guide other people to that
absolutely. Like
space?
there's a rule of thumb, you can't really guide someone into something you haven't experienced yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Very, very cool. And it makes sense because our minds are so creative.
Aren't they?
They're so creative. They like to dream up all sorts of things. My mind is my greatest asset and my worst enemy. So I'm always giving it math problems, and it seems to calm down. It just needs something to figure out.
Well, it's good to know. It's good to have a way of dealing with that. The thing that occurs to me is our minds are kind of the mediation tool that we use to experience everything in life. So there's a way in which the human mind is the ultimate leverage point for everything we want to create, everything we want to experience, everything we want to bring into being, everything we want to do, all our relationships, all our goals, all our objectives. So it seems to me that getting a more principled understanding of your mind, how it works, who you are, how you relate to it. It's just such a huge leverage point for human beings. It has
Yeah,
so much impact in all the other things that you want to do.
because so many of us I over identify with our minds, our thoughts, the emotions that come from them, what we think, that we identify that as us, like that my
Sure.
mind is me, but it's not, is
No,
it?
that's true.
Because our minds are a tool. What's it with the saying that our minds are a wonderful tool but a terrible master or something? There's some quote
I
that
think
says
it's
that.
Einstein said that intuition, the intellect is a powerful tool, and intuition is a wise master. The mistake we've made is we've made the tool the master.
Yeah.
So I think that's there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, for sure. Now it's been really interesting to watch Mark, who had a very, very brilliant mind, um, lose part of it. Um, and so there's a part of him gone, but it didn't affect his heart. It
Mm.
didn't affect that central part of who he is. It affected a lot of I mean, there's still some patterns that run, but there's a lot of other patterns that are just complete. So he's much more like the private Mark that I've always known. Yes, being in a relationship, that part of Mark is more vibrant and more alive and more but a lot of the guy friends, like they don't know how to deal with that. But it's
Right.
so interesting to just see. It's almost like, the stroke took out like a set of patterns. There's still a few
Mhm.
there, but a lot of the old patterns are just gone and it's just very raw. I'm just curious your thoughts on that. Is a
I,
very personal question.
well, I'll respond with a very personal answer, which is uh, my mom passed away not so long ago, and she had always been very clever, very quick thinking, very sharp mind. Um, and in the last couple of years of her life, she got quite severe dementia.
Hmm.
And the form it took with her was that the intellect kind of just wound down. And what was left was someone incredibly sweet who I hadn't met that often through most of my life. And all of a sudden, she was all heart
Yeah.
because the meaning I made of it, Kathy, is the things that had kind of been getting in the way of that or filtering that or that were all these kind of protective mechanisms and ego defenses and that sort of thing built up over like she was she grew up during the Second World War and was evacuated and all kinds of things, quite a traumatic early childhood by modern standards, and according to her that's just the way things were, and you just stiff upper lip and all that sort of stuff. But I think that those protective functions did a great job of protecting her and keeping her safe, but also maybe shielded her heart from the outside and from the inside. And when those very critical thought patterns, intellectual patterns started to reside, that sweetness, that heart started to shine through. So, and to me, Kathy, that relates to, what I was saying about who you really are and who you
Yeah.
are to yourself. That I always think of that as, the truth that resides at the heart of your being, the wisdom and intelligence that has been with you since before you knew how to intellectualize, before you develop those patterns and that sort of thing. So, and sometimes people will refer to older age as kind of a second childhood and that sort of thing. And I think that it doesn't seem like they're completely off base with that.
Very interesting. It kind of is. My mom's in her 80s. My brother's, she's up in Illinois. I'm in Texas with Mark. And so it's kind of funny because they're very much taking care of her. And it's weird seeing mom, this as a child, moms are deities, they know all the answers, they have all the rules. And then the situation reverses and
Sure.
you see them as a child. And I think in a lot of ways that can be very, very healing though, too, of a lot of things. Okay. That was a huge tangent. I want to talk about more of what you do, but
Tangents.
I think that was it was very valuable for me. So that was a very
Wow.
selfish tangent. So thank you. So if now coaches wanted to work with you, like what kind of coaches do you work with? Like who's your tribe?
I typically for people to work with me, because the stuff I'm pointing to on the one hand is super practical, but it's also a bit woo-woo. It's a bit out there. Like I see my job role being to wake people up and to support them in awakening others. That's why I love working with coaches and therapists and change workers, is because these are people who love awakening others, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, Kathy, because at the moment I've been uh, exploring AI for quite a few years. And it seems to me that, like, I can't remember what the stats are, but earlier this year, like April or May this year, it was found that ChatGPT, the number one personal use case was coaching, therapy, and companionship, right? So,
Mm.
and that's hundreds of millions of people around the world using AI for that. So that's really interesting, because what it means is that coaching, which has been kind of a niche until now, is suddenly getting mainstream. Lots more people are becoming aware of it. Now, lots of people will just use AI for coaching, right? They'll never speak to a human coach, but a bunch of people are going to be interested in coaching. But here's the thing, here's where it gets really interesting. To me, I reckon AI, if you think about what the white collar world has been about, it's about getting people to behave like machines as they do accounting, bookkeeping, legal work, that sort of thing. They're being like machines because machines couldn't do that stuff. But now the machines are better at being machines than people are, or they very soon will be. And so the question then becomes, in a world where the machines are better at being machines than people are, what does it make sense for human beings to do? And it seems to me that in terms of human flourishing, the ultimate leverage point is to double down on what makes us most human. The things that I'm interested in are waking people up to who they really are, how their mind works, and how that leverages things in businesses, in results, and that sort of thing. So the kind of coaches I like working with, often it's people who can listen to what I'm saying and kind of go, I don't understand what he's saying, but something about it feels right. I'll go and explore more, because there's kind of a high bar to working with me, which is you've got to be willing to be confused, because it's clear that I know what I'm talking about. But to a lot of people, they're like, he knows what he's talking about, but it sounds kind of bonkers. So it's people who get touched by that and go, oh, there's something here, and they're willing to put in the time to listen to it and go, oh, okay, I'm onto something here. Now, I work with a lot of coaches who are business coaches and transformational coaches, people who are trying to make a real difference in the lives of others, people who are called to make a difference in the world. You know, Kathy, it looks to me, in terms of the technological changes facing humanity. Well, there's a quote by D. Ward Hawk. Hawk was the guy who started Visa. I'll read the quote. I think I've got it here. Just a second. Yeah, he was the guy who started Visa Card, D. Ward Hawk, but he was a bit of a hippie. And he said, we're at that very point in time when a 400-year-old age is dying and another is struggling to be born, a shifting of culture, science, society, and institutions enormously greater than the world has ever experienced. He said, ahead, the possibility of regeneration of individuality, liberty, community, and ethics, such as the world has never known, and a harmony with nature, with one another, and with the divine intelligence, such as the world has always dreamed. Now, he said that about 30 years ago, and it's been like a beacon for me. It's like, oh, there's a beautiful world that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if I listen to people out of Silicon Valley and that sort of thing, that's what they're aiming at too. And it could be with us like between 5 and 10 years, but it's not guaranteed that we get that beautiful world. It's maybe 5 or 10% chance, 5 or 10% chance we blow everything up. And then in the middle is techno-authoritarianism or techno-feudalism or something like that. So there's a relatively small target for us to hit. So how it looks to me is it's sort of like there's this beautiful possible future, and there's this Indiana Jones style rope bridge between here and there with like missing slats and arrows flying by and boulders and flaming things and all that sort of stuff. And humanity's got to get across that. We got to get across that to the other side. And it looks to me like all the stuff that has worked until now isn't going to get us across the rope bridge. So we need to wake up. We need to wake up to a different way of using our minds. We need to wake up from the tribalism and scarcity that has motivated so much of humanity until now. We need to wake up from that so that we can get across. So I'm interested in working with coaches who resonate with that and don't think that guy's crazy, I don't want to think about that stuff. People who are like, yeah, that sounds right. Those are the people who are in my tribe.
Yeah. Yeah. I see why my husband loved you so much. Do you think we'll get the like 100th monkey type of experience where if we wake up enough people, it just kind of catches on?
I think that's almost certainly true. I just don't know how many is enough. It may be that, like, they've done some work with network effects, and they reckon that in a population, if you can establish a belief set in any kind of 6 to 10% of the population, it kind of takes the rest of the population anyway. But I don't know that that's true. There's going to be some kind, how I see it is this actually, like, if you imagine being in a huge stadium that's totally pitch black, but everyone's holding a candle. If one person lights one candle, you'll be able to see that pinprick of light from anywhere in the stadium. Yeah. If they light the candle of the person next to them, it doubles the amount of light, and it spreads like that. So while I love the idea of mass awakening, that would be wonderful. It looks to me like, and one of the reasons I love working with coaches and change workers is the way that it seems to work best is person to person.
Mhm.
It's because it's sort of like you catch it through a feeling. It
Yeah.
starts with a feeling. It's not an intellectual construct. It's a feeling.
You can't light 1,000 candles at once. It has to be passed from person to person.
I think so. I mean, you could, but you'd need to use a flamethrower, and those are
Collateral damage.
remarkably imprecise.
Lots of collateral damage with
Yeah,
that. Yeah. It's
exactly.
much more beautiful sparking the hearts of person to person, and it, to me, at a very intuitive gut feel, that's, I think, what we're here to do.
It makes sense to me, Kathy, and it makes sense of why so many people are getting inspired to do coaching, change work,
Yeah.
retreats, therapy, this kind of thing, because I think that something that, we're all connected to this deeper wisdom, and it's happening through us. It's
Yeah.
happening through us.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this, you lit something within me. I feel like almost like this interview has been a coaching session for me. So thank you, because I feel like you've got something here, and I just feel your mission at a
Mm.
very deep level. It's not like, okay, here's the business strategic plan. It's a spiritually driven strategy that is timeless, and I wow. I am very, very impressed. Where can people find you on the internet if they want more of this good stuff, if they want it shot into their veins the Jamie Sharp way?
Yeah, for
How can you
intravenous application. My website is jamiesmart.com. I've got a couple of podcasts. The one that would be particularly relevant here is the Thriving Coaches podcast. I've got a couple of books. My book Clarity and my book Results are both on Amazon or wherever you get books. And there's countless videos of me coaching people and that sort of thing on YouTube. So those are all good places to go.
amazing. We'll put some of those into the show notes, and what a treat. This has been amazing.
So nice to
Am
meet you, Kathy.
It has been such a pleasure to meet you too, and thank you for jumping on the interview with me today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.